All right, everybody. I am Spegtacular, the Silver Stacular. I'm here with Lior, who is currently in Israel. And now Lior has been on our show before, talking about different things that he has, speculated in the markets, precious metals markets. But Lior has, a little bit of a different approach today because his country is under attack. And so, Lior, we're just kind of, concerned about you, your family, and we're curious about what's really going on over there with the news. Lately, you never know what to believe. And so it'd be nice to get some information, what you're able to present, what you're feeling comfortable presenting to people over here in the United States.
Sure. Where would you like me to start?
Okay, so I'd imagine just one night you're asleep, and then all of a sudden you turn on the news and there's chaos. Is that kind of how things started happening?
Personally, for myself, being in Tel Aviv, I woke up. Well, my 7-year-old woke me up because there were sirens. When the sirens happened, whenever the Iron Dome is activated in order to intercept missiles coming into a sovereign country from the Gaza Strip. Um, the Iron Dome is a fantastic system that was developed right here in Israel, a country whose GDP is relying upon tech sector for about 20% of our production. And we have incredible tech companies here that help the entire world, US, NATO countries, other countries that are not NATO allies. A lot of countries depend on the knowledge that comes out of the cybersecurity space here and other incredible innovations and patents that were formed by um, people here with the incredible ingenuity and potential that we have here. Iron Dome is one example of that. An incredible, just something that defies physics almost. Um, so I woke up. It's not uncommon in the past 10 years to hear sirens and the Iron Dome intercepting over Tel Aviv. Before 2012, 2013, the capability of rocket launching from the Gaza Strip was limited to a few kilometers, and that's changed because of smuggles into the Gaza Strip over the years from Iran, mostly. And uh, so at that point, you're starting to understand the picture slowly but surely. By about 7:30 to 8 a.m., we realized that the massive rocket attack is just part of a grand scale attack that is unlike anything that Hamas has ever done, or to that extent, any other uh, terrorist organization since the formation of Israel in 1948. Very elaborate, about a year and a half in the making, including about 2,500 people that came in. I don't want to go into too many details about what they've done, but essentially they've done a Mogadishu. They've done a I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to even share graphically on YouTube. Uh, Part of the things I've attended funerals. I've helped people that have lost loved ones. We've donated generously to anyone. We've went and hugged and kissed and entertained families that have. Well, anyways, that was that morning. Um, the Israeli army was not prepared, obviously, for anything of that scale. And because of not realizing incoming intelligence or not deciphering it in the right way or whatever it is, um, the 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 real help that came a few hours later was too late. Uh, and then the decision obviously was made to attack, first of all, defend, and then attack, and that's where we are right now. So I think you asked about specifically about the morning of the 7th, so I'm replying about that. Um, in the outside of the Gaza Strip, let me get a little bit more specific now. Outside of the Gaza Strip, there are communities. Most of them are 100 to 200 households, very small communities, mostly engage in either agriculture or something similar, very, um, you know, it's like a nature area, very open spaces, etc. So people there have very quiet lives, and they are amazing people, just regular people. Some of these communities have been wiped out from the face of the earth completely, completely. Um, in other areas, um, you have half the people, 75% wiped out. Many that were either not burned alive or shot and maimed and butchered and whatever were taken and are captives. Uh, and then police response, the military response, etc., etc. Um, it, the question between Israel and Hamas is not about question of strength, of course. The Israeli army is far better equipped, more trained, etc. Everything. The question has always been how to make sure that the world understands what we're dealing with, and that uh, put it to, unfortunately, put it at the center stage of the entire world. But I can go back and explain much more in depth uh, the um, the entire chain of events that formed this situation. So, but that is in regard to that morning. Apart from those settlements that are 100 to 200, 300 families, there are three major cities, and over there they just ran through the streets, and anyone that was in the street um, uh, uh, was is still in the street.
So you've described to me before about the Iron Dome, and like you said just now, it's a missile defense system. So if missiles are coming in from the sky from Hamas, then the Iron Dome, defends those with other missiles, I suppose, knocking them out of the sky. But a ground attack, there's not a whole lot that can affect it. You're relying on the army or the military there, which, like you said, was just not prepared.
Correct, correct. There is a there was there's a massive barricade, which they've learned its strengths and weaknesses. There was a fence after that. There's also many eyes in the skies, right? Like drones and stuff like that. There are many cameras, and for over a year, they've planned on how to dismantle the system and create multiple scenes in order to get to a situation where it's hard to understand exactly what's going on, the scope of it. And of course, the army simulates everything, but it can simulate something. But if part of the simulation is to get two, three, four, five battalions in front of it to hold the line, and you don't have the intelligence um, uh, to do that, then it, the, then you're not prepared for these sort of situations. And this was an extreme situation.
Okay, Leo, a couple more questions. First of all, I'm curious why this attack happens. I know you said it was years in the making. The different entities have some problems with each other religiously, whatever the case may be. I'm curious, what the reasoning is as far as you know. And then I'll have another question after that.
Well, um, scholars and historians of the Middle East understand that Iran, which is a country that has stood its ground for over 2,500 years, a very rich country in resources, and uh, topographically, it's almost like a fortress. It has mountains on all sides. It's incredibly hard to penetrate and invade, and they've kept their strength for millennia. In 1979, as many Americans know, there was a revolution, and in place of the Shah that was there, um, a religious government came into being, where above the prime minister there is a religion aspect to it, and that religion believes in certain uh, ideologies that are non-compromising. In other words, it believes in jihad, in waqf, in the sacred land, and so it's incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to negotiate anything in Western terms. In other words, jobs, money, anything, any incentive, any values that the West um, uh, or the developed nations adhere to. In other words, other countries that want to do trade, commerce, business, prosperity, evolve, that has nothing to do with the aspirations of Iran. Because of the way that it's structured, it doesn't have a military that is an invading military. It has a lot of missiles, incredible missiles, incredible rockets, incredible drones, but its strategy is to fund other groups around the Middle East to do its bidding. That is the way that this is structured. One of those groups, or one of those terrorist groups, is Hamas. So, but the Hamas was formed in the Gaza Strip in the late 80s by one person, and it evolved and evolved and just evolved into an army with it's almost like a little state um, at the morning of the attack. So the ideology of it is that Jerusalem and the entire and that land is sacred to the Muslims, and it has to be in the hands of Muslims. And once that's done, then the rest of the world has to be in the hands of Muslims, and everybody has to be Muslims as the grand agenda.
Okay. Now, all this stuff is just things that I hear, so I want to really ask you so that I'm correct on things. You guys don't have a Second Amendment. You don't have the freedom to keep and bear arms. Is it difficult to get arms over there for civilians to you guys to sell?
It used to be before Saturday morning. I assume that that will change. As you can imagine, we're a country where everyone goes to the military by law. So it there are many people that are trained, and carrying a weapon could be something that becomes easier. Certainly, I don't know yet, but as you can well imagine, I assume that those laws will be relaxed.
So here, not
Yeah.
going to the military. You can, choose when you're younger to do that, or
Okay.
whatever.
I missed the first part of the question. I'm sorry. Could you repeat?
This new question.
Yes. Here
So
after 9/11, you said?
no. Here in the United States, of course, not everybody is
Okay.
required to have military training. It's an option for just about everybody. Um, and I think it's wrong that we're able to get guns so easily but not be trained. Whereas your country, you are forced to be trained, but you don't have the weapon.
Yes, yes,
Um,
unfortunately.
hope,
But
hopefully that.
yeah, I think that will gradually change because of what's going on. But um, it's the reason that it wasn't the case up until now is because of the very liberal and uh, the aspiration and the vision of the country since the mid 90s to resemble more European countries and be very very modern and very and try to mimic to a degree the openness of other countries and with open arms invite tourists and whatnot to the country. But yeah, it uh, it definitely looks like it can change.
Now, Leor, can you go out and about, or are they telling you to stay in as much as possible? What is it like if you do go out?
They are telling us to stay in for the most part. In terms of going out, you can't go out. The risk is just a siren, right? Siren, then it means that you have to run into shelter. Um, so schools are closed, of course, um, and uh, you know, no, there are no places to go out and enjoy anything. Most of the where I'm at, for example, is not the front lines. Most people are engaged in anything that they can do to make the soldiers um, feel better. Some people just drive there and encourage them. Other people, donate. It could be anything from clothing to just anything you can imagine. It's this entire country is almost like one incredibly united. Just it's unbelievable. I can't explain. It's like a band of brothers, and just the Middle East for thousands of years. There's never been uh, a democracy here. It's there's nothing like this. It's hard to explain to someone who hasn't seen it for himself.
After 9/11 here in the United States, of course, we came together pretty strongly, almost immediately. So I can sort of understand that aspect. Does the United States, for the heavy majority, their support for Israel, does that help you all at all?
uh, there is no Israel without the United States.
I got you. I got you. So what's the next steps you think there, Leor? What's coming from here?
Um, I think that if we can do another interview in about a week, I'll be able to answer that question. But for now, I don't think it's appropriate for YouTube.
I totally understand.
The I would say that in our if you're a reader of our newsletter of Wealth Research Group.com, if you subscribe to our newsletter, I'll be able to explain more as our newsletters go out. But I would say uh, let's take it day by day with that kind of a question, very loaded question.
And Leor, I'll put that link, if that's okay with you, down in the description of the video so people can just click on it.
Sure. Thank you.
Well, listen, I think that I can say amongst all my viewers that we are really hoping, that everybody from here on out pulls through, that, your country starts to go in a north or a positive direction from here. And we'd like to see all the fighting stop. We're tired of seeing bad news on the news every single day for the last few years. So it's not something that anybody needs right now. And, I offer you my best wishes, and please, come back as soon as you can to tell us more about what's going on. We really appreciate it, Leor.
I appreciate uh, I appreciate you inviting me.
Absolutely. And prayers and everything goes out to you and your family. And just keep us in the loop as much as you can. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
You know, when I was a kid, we did this every day in school, and I believe we need to bring this back a little bit, and I'm going to start right now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.